My career out in the real world, out in the public, has mostly been in public education, social work, and freelance writing. Guess who's almost always been a financially broke ass witch? It's me! Hi, I'm LaureleiBlack, and this is Blade and Broom, and let's just jump right into that sweet, cheap witchcraft. So I'm going to start with the disclaimer that my husband and I have created some level of financial security for ourselves here in our late 40s, early 50s. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to be transparent. I'm not as pinched for cash as I was in my 20s and 30s, and I can occasionally spring for pricier artisan crafted tools and other kinds of gear, like this lovely stang over here from Arts and Crafts. Maybe you've noticed that some of the forms of magic and witchcraft are really very tool heavy. You've got to have robes, you've got to have blades, you've got to have a stang, a cauldron, and more. I've always struggled with some of the conflicting urges and core values when it comes to acquiring tools. I want to have nice, well-made things that will last, but sometimes I've also just got to have something practical that serves the purpose. I think that artists and artisans should be appropriately compensated for their skills, materials, and time. But I also believe that witchcraft should remain financially accessible to people with limited means, as so often these have been the people who have traditionally, historically practiced witchcraft. I want to use natural, ethically sourced materials and tools, but those are becoming increasingly more expensive. If you have also struggled with some of these same conflicting motivations and you're feeling stuck in your practice because you don't have the things that you feel like you need, then you're in luck. Because I'm here today as your favorite witchy aunt, to share some tips and tricks that can help you with your witchcraft. So the first one is super obvious. I'm going to say it anyway because I like to say obvious things. Never discredit what you can find at discount outlets. Items at the Dollar Tree might not be $1 anymore, but $1.25 or $1.50 for a candle holder, a plate or bowl for your red meal, trinket boxes for spirit vessels or spell containers, glassed prayer candles. Those are all good deals. Your candle magic doesn't necessarily have to include color magic. You can work wonders with white tea lights, utility candles, pillars, and prayer candles. And some discount stores do actually carry a variety of colors, so you may actually luck out. They also have some spices and food items that are great in spell work. Hey, would you guys like me to do a video on the kinds of witchy items that you can find at the dollar stores, like kind of a shop along? If so, mention it in the comments and I'll get on that. So number 2 in my tips is that thrifted and reclaimed pieces are just as valid and powerful as bespoke items. I live in a town where everyone comes to shop for antiques and art, and the kind of stores that my mom calls junk stores are everywhere. The only difference between antique malls, flea markets, and yard sales is the setting, my friends. Most of the cups and plates and cloths that I use in my altar setup come from secondhand shops. One of my coven mates actually picked up a really cool 3-tined pitchfork for their stang. Porcelain dolls make great spirit dollies and spell dollies, and I have so many little tchotchkes and figurines that I either thrifted or that look like the kinds of things you'd find at a thrift store. Some of the trick with this tip is being open to using objects in ways that maybe only make sense to you. For example, I have a glass doorknob that was my very first scrying tool. Got it at a yard sale. Still got it. This is a super common amber glass candle holder that I use as the golden lantern, which is a tool that's specific to my tradition. So don't be afraid to get out of the box. And also tip number 3, don't be afraid to make your own gear, even if you don't have a lot of skill in a certain area of crafting. You can turn a queen-sized flat sheet into a ritual robe or a hooded cloak, even if you can't sew. And I am going to show you how to do that in a future video. You can purchase a knife blank and wood for a handle that you assemble, embellish, and polish, all without a forge. I'm going to show you how to do that too. Staffs and stangs and wands all start as sticks, and you can craft them all with a multi-tool, some sandpaper, and a bit of linseed oil if you're willing to do the work. And honestly, my friends, the work is the magic. That's your energy empowering that tool and waking up the spirit who lives within it. Tip number 4, don't fall for commercialism and marketing. Stuff with a pentacle slapped on the side and like a pagan label in the listing often costs more than the exact same stuff sold elsewhere. Cauldrons are the biggest example of this. If you want to get overcharged for a poorly made hunk of metal, search for the term cauldron. If you want a tool that you can actually cook in and that could last a lifetime, search for a cast iron bean crock or a Dutch oven. Friends, cauldron literally just means cooking pot, so any cooking pot will do. Tip number 5, use what you already have. Need a black ritual robe with a hood? How about a black dress and headscarf? Or a black t-shirt, jeans, and a hoodie? I mean, really, why not? An incense thurible for loose incense might be a terracotta saucer filled with clean, unscented, natural cat clay on a ceramic tile. That setup diffuses heat nicely, and both the tile and the saucer can be engraved or painted if you want. If you need an anvil, as some witches do, looking at red threaders here, a small jeweler's anvil or even a flat top rock work really well. Tip number 6, remember that all the tools you need are carried in your own body. Here is your stang. Here is your wand, your blade, your cup. My high priestess often reminded us that if we couldn't do the magic naked and alone in an empty concrete room, then we couldn't do the magic at all. And I'm not diminishing the power or connection of working with an inspirited tool. I'm just reminding you that tools like that will find you, or spirits will take up residence in the tools that you're using in the interim. The price you pay for the tool doesn't make it any more or less magical. And that's all that I have to say about that for today. So let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe share some things that you've DIY'd or that you found secondhand, or if you'd like for me to do a DIY or budget-friendly version of a particular tool in a future episode, let me know. And if you found today's chat useful, encouraging, thought-provoking, please bless me with the magic of the like button. And tell your witchy friends that there's good stuff happening over here at Blade and Broom. I've got more resources for you in the description box, including my witchcraft course. And if you can't wait until next week or whenever I post to dig into more witchy goodness with me, then check out the next video that's popping up. I'll see you over there, my friends.